Welcome to Cosmic Lullaby Channel, a serene space where gentle harmonies meet the wonder of the universe, inviting you to drift into calm, comfort, and restful dreams. The night opens with a quiet urgency, as though the story of life itself has been waiting to be told in the hush between heartbeats. Welcome, not simply to a channel or a routine narration, but to a journey that stretches across billions of years, written in stone and bone, in hidden strands of DNA that still reside in your body. Imagine it. After a long day, as the world outside grows silent, you close your eyes and drift into a narrative older than mountains, older than the stars you see above you. This is not merely a story. It is the chronicle of survival, adaptation, and transformation. A tale of how everything you know, including yourself, was shaped by forces both relentless and subtle. You don't need to do anything now but let go. Allow your breath to steady, your thoughts to settle. Think of yourself not as separate from the earth, but as a small part of it. Dust and atoms recycled countless times. Molecules once carried by oceans and volcanoes, by forests and forgotten creatures. Tonight, we walk quietly into the past, not on a straight road, but through a labyrinth of branching paths where each turn reveals another secret. Evolution has never been a straight arrow. It is a tangled tree, its roots buried in time itself, its branches reaching out into futures unimagined. Some stories will sound familiar, others will leave you in awe. But all of them whisper the same truth. You are part of something vast. We begin with a startling reminder of our animal past. In the earliest weeks of human development, before we ever draw a breath, the embryo carries a tail. Yes, a tail, complete with vertebrae, muscles, and nerves. Around day 28, this structure emerges, growing longer for a brief period, as though echoing an ancient blueprint that never quite disappeared. By the 5th week, most of it is reabsorbed, leaving only the coccyx, the tailbone, a silent witness embedded in our anatomy. But evolution, careless in its memory, sometimes lets these echoes linger. Rarely, a child is born with a small tail, a living glimpse into the ancient animal form we once carried proudly for balance, climbing, even swimming. In that fragile tail, we glimpse not deformity, but history, a lineage carved into flesh. And it does not end there. Consider this. Inside your own body, the human genes you carry are outnumbered by the bacterial ones. Your DNA contributes about 20,000 unique instructions, but the microbes living in and on you, trillions strong, bring millions more. They help digest food, craft vital vitamins, shape your immune system, and even influence your mood. Without them, you are not whole. In fact, you are not one organism at all. You are a community, part human, part microbial, entwined in a partnership that began long before humans existed. Some of these microbial lineages are inherited like family heirlooms, passed from mother to child for thousands of generations. Others arrive from soil, water, or even the people around you. Evolution, it seems, did not stop at shaping your bones and brain. It sculpted the unseen world inside you, weaving your very identity from cooperation with the smallest of life forms. Now picture the eternal darkness of a cave, where light never touches the water. Here live eyeless fish, creatures that once saw their world but no longer need to. Their embryos still begin to grow eyes, as if remembering a time when vision mattered. The sockets form, the tissue takes shape, and then, as development continues, it all collapses. The eyes dissolve, reabsorbed into the body. This process, known as regressive evolution, is not failure. It is ruthless efficiency. Why waste energy building something useless in darkness? Instead, the blueprint remains, but the feature is silenced. In these fish, blindness is not a defect, but an advantage, proof that evolution prunes as much as it creates. And in the wide oceans, whales, the giants that glide through the deep, still carry bones from a life they abandoned. Deep in their flesh, near the pelvis, lie small disconnected bones, the remnants of legs. Once their ancestors walked the land, hooves pressing into ancient mud. Over time, they slid back into the water, trading the weight of gravity for buoyancy. The legs vanished, yet the bones stayed. They no longer serve to walk, but they linger like archaeological ruins hidden in a modern city. Scientists studying these pelvic traces find confirmation that every creature carries its own archive, its own unfinished record of change. Even in the towering giraffe, evolution's constraints are revealed. Look at its neck, stretched like a living ladder toward the treetops. You might assume its spine contains dozens of vertebrae. But the truth is stranger, just 7, the same number you carry in your own neck. Evolution did not rewrite the plan, it only elongated it. Each bone stretched and stretched again until it formed the iconic pillar that defines the giraffe. The animal's body is a compromise, not a clean design. The overall mood, nature chose modification over invention, showing us that the path of life is one of adaptation, not perfection. And far away, under the waves, dolphins use sonar to cut through the murky deep, just as bats use high-pitched cries to pierce the night sky. Two animals separated by millions of years and utterly different environments arrived at the same extraordinary solution: echolocation. In both, the genes that shape hearing and sound production converged, as though two unrelated scripts somehow landed on the same line. It is convergent evolution, the phenomenon where similar challenges sculpt unrelated species in eerily similar ways. Sound became a torch in darkness, and evolution wrote that torch twice. The deeper we go, the more we see. Wings sprouted not once but 4 separate times, in insects, birds, bats, and pterosaurs. DNA itself reveals secrets, like the strange kinship between humans and bananas, sharing 60% of their genetic code. Lizards in parched deserts found a way to reproduce without males at all, cloning themselves to survive where mates are scarce. And still, when you trace every branch of the tree of life back far enough, past oceans of change, past extinctions and upheavals, you arrive at a single cell, alive 3.5 billion years ago. From that spark, all of us descend. From that one cell, everything grew: whales, trees, you. This is where the story begins, with quiet echoes inside embryos, with ghost bones hidden in whales, with unseen allies living in your gut. 100 small truths, each one stranger than fiction, yet each a thread in the same tapestry. Evolution is not a story told once. It is a symphony still playing, written in fossils, in DNA, in every breath you take. Long before whales returned to the sea or giraffes stretched their necks toward the sky, the Earth was already an arena of improvisation. Evolution does not proceed as a flawless plan. It stumbles, experiments, repeats, and occasionally discovers solutions so ingenious that they reappear again and again across different species. Each adaptation is like a note in a larger symphony, and sometimes the same melody echoes in different corners of the biological world. Take the skies. You might think flight, the ability to defy gravity, was a singular miracle. But in truth, it was invented not once, but at least 4 times. Insects took to the air with delicate wings powered by tiny muscles, the earliest flyers to escape predators and expand across continents. Millions of years later, birds evolved feathers, first for warmth or display, then reshaped them into instruments of lift. Bats, mammals of the night, stretched skin across elongated fingers, creating flexible wings unlike anything seen in birds. And long before them, pterosaurs, reptilian giants, soared with membranous wings supported by a single extended digit. 4 different solutions, 4 unique blueprints, yet all born of the same desire, to rise above. This is evolution's hallmark, not perfection, but possibility. Convergence is everywhere. Dolphins and bats with their twin invention of echolocation are not unique. In the coldest waters on Earth, fish in both the Arctic and Antarctic separately evolved anti-freeze proteins, molecular shields against freezing blood. They used entirely different genetic pathways, but arrived at the same life-saving trick. Thousands of miles apart, their survival hinged on the same chemistry. Proof that nature answers similar challenges with familiar solutions, even across vast distances. And sometimes the echoes are even stranger. Consider humans and bananas. At first glance, nothing could be more different. One has blood, bones, and consciousness. The other grows silently in clusters under tropical sun. Yet when scientists compared the genomes, they discovered we share about 60% of the same DNA. Why? Because deep in the history of life, the building blocks of cells, copying DNA, breaking down sugars, making proteins, were so fundamental that evolution preserved them across billions of years. It is a reminder that on the molecular stage, life is far less divided than it appears. Beneath the skin, beneath the bark, we are variations of the same ancient code. But DNA does not only preserve what is shared, it also keeps secrets of what was lost. In some desert lizards, males have disappeared entirely from the process of reproduction. Through parthenogenesis, females create offspring that are clones of themselves, no mating required. While this limits genetic diversity, it also guarantees survival when populations are scattered and partners are scarce. Imagine a lone lizard in an empty landscape. She can still create the next generation, carrying the lineage forward without help. It is resilience in its purest form, evolution rewriting the rules of sex itself. Yet the greatest secret written in DNA is one that unites all life. Trace any branch of the evolutionary tree back far enough, and you arrive at a single ancestor, a microscopic cell that lived 3.5 billion years ago. It thrived in a world without oxygen, a planet where seas boiled with volcanic gases and continents had not yet taken shape. That cell divided, replicated, and survived. Its genetic signature still flows in your veins, in the roots of trees, in the spores of fungi, in the bacteria beneath glaciers. You are not merely connected to your parents and grandparents, a natural male narrator with a warm, friendly tone, fluid and easy to follow, like a light science podcast. Keep your voice clear and coherent with a gentle intonation that is both intelligent and soothing. Use pauses when necessary. The overall mood should be relaxed, engaging, and comfortable, perfect for bedtime reading and space narration. The tempo should be around 0.90. You are kin to coral reefs, to mushrooms, to pond scum. Evolution is not just about species. It is about kinship on a cosmic scale. The story deepens when fossils reveal the transitions no eye ever saw. Take the whale, for example. Its ancestors once walked the land on 4 legs. They resembled wolves with hooves, wading through rivers, hunting along shores. Over tens of millions of years, their descendants became increasingly aquatic, nostrils sliding to the top of the skull, legs shrinking, tails widening into flukes. Fossils like Ambulocetus, literally the walking whale, show this transition perfectly, with limbs suited both for land and for water. Even today, whales carry vestiges of hips inside their massive bodies, hidden relics of a time when they stood on Earth instead of gliding through oceans. The same principle applies to birds. Every sparrow, every eagle, every crow you see is a living dinosaur. Their lineage descends from small, fast theropods, the same family that included Velociraptor and Tyrannosaurus rex. Fossils reveal feathers existed long before flight, originally for warmth or display. Hollow bones, sharp eyes, and egg-laying bodies already defined these creatures. Evolution did not erase their ancestry, it reshaped it. A robin on your windowsill is not just a bird, it is a dinosaur that survived extinction by learning to fly. But evolution does not only add, it also leaves behind half-finished chapters in the form of vestigial structures. Human goosebumps are one such relic. In our fur-covered ancestors, they served a clear purpose: raising hair to trap warmth or to appear larger in the face of predators. Today, with bare skin, they are little more than a reflex without cause. The appendix, once vital for digesting tough plant matter, now lingers as a narrow pouch with no obvious function. Even the muscles around our ears, in cats a radar dish of survival, twitch faintly in some people, a ghost of awareness long forgotten. These remnants are evolution's footnotes, traces of what once mattered, quietly carried into the present. Yet evolution is not always slow. In hospitals and farms around the world, we witness it in fast forward. Antibiotic resistance is one of the clearest, most pressing examples. When exposed to antibacteria, most die, but a few, through random mutations, survive. These survivors multiply rapidly, spreading resistance. In months, entire populations become immune to drugs that once destroyed them. It is evolution condensed into weeks, natural selection not across eons, but in real time. This is both a scientific marvel and a global health crisis. It shows us that evolution is not just a story of ancient fossils. It is alive, dangerous, and unfolding around us. And then, among the strangest survivors, stands the platypus, a creature so bizarre it seems to have been assembled from spare parts. A duck-like bill, webbed feet, fur, the ability to lay eggs, and the production of milk. Its genome is equally confounding, carrying 10 sex chromosomes, some resembling those of birds. Yet every feature is a record of survival. The platypus is not a mashup, but a living time capsule, a snapshot of evolutionary experiments that refuse to vanish. This is evolution's greatest lesson. It is not about progress, but persistence. The forms that last are not the perfect ones, but the ones that work just enough to continue. The overall mode of evolution, to birds carrying dinosaur blood, to bacteria rewriting their defenses in real time, evolution is a relentless current, and we, every one of us, are carried along with it. Evolution often reveals its power not in dramatic leaps, but in the quiet reshaping of what already exists. It builds new worlds from old parts, rewiring the familiar into the extraordinary. Sometimes what seems broken is not a flaw, but an open door to something greater. Take the human brain. Hidden in our DNA lies a broken gene called MYH16, once responsible for building powerful jaw muscles in our primate relatives. When it mutated into silence, the jaws of early humans weakened, but the skull loosened, freed from the crushing grip of oversized muscles. That subtle release may have allowed the brain to expand, pushing cranial walls outward to make room for the threefold increase in size that separates us from chimpanzees. A tiny genetic accident, a broken tool, may have cleared the path for thought, language, and imagination. Evolution, it seems, sometimes grows brilliance in the space left behind by loss. Loss and transformation echo in our teeth as well. Embedded in the human genome are broken versions of enamel-producing genes once spread across the entire body. In our fish ancestors, enamel-like armor coated not just teeth but skin, a hard shield against predators. Over time, as skeletons moved inward and bodies softened, those genes were silenced. Today, enamel remains only on our teeth, the last gleaming trace of ancient armor. Each smile carries a hidden fossil record written in chemistry, a whisper of scales that hardened long before any creature walked on land. And then there is Tiktaalik, the fish that walked. Discovered in Arctic stone in 2004, this 375-million-year-old fossil bridges water and land. With gills and fins, it still swam like a fish. Yet those fins bore wrist-like bones, strong enough to support its weight in shallow water or on muddy banks. Its head was flat, its neck flexible, traits that no fish before it had. It was not the first four-legged animal, but it was a doorway, proof of the slow and staggering process by which fins became feet. Evolution does not leap across chasms. It builds stepping stones, each one a fragile compromise between two worlds. On the other side of the planet, another story of convergence unfolded. In Australia, the Tasmanian wolf, or thylacine, once prowled the forests, striped and sharp-snouted, eerily similar to true wolves. Yet it was no placental mammal. It was a marsupial, more closely related to kangaroos than to dogs. Separated by over 100 million years of evolution, wolves and thylacines still arrived at the same shape, the same predatory form. This is convergent evolution at its most uncanny. Different starting points, identical needs, sculpting mirror images across continents. Consider, too, the penguin, which gave up the gift of flight. Evolution did not take its wings away, but remade them. Bones thickened, feathers compacted, muscles restructured, until wings became flippers, perfectly tuned for slicing through icy seas. In exchange for the sky, penguins gained mastery of the ocean, gliding underwater with the grace of torpedoes. Flight was not lost, it was traded, transformed into something equally sublime. The Horus tells a story of reduction, not expansion. 50 million years ago, its ancestor Eohippus was a small forest dweller with multiple toes. As grassland spread and predators grew faster, those side toes shrank, vanishing into history. What remains today is a single elongated toe, the hoof, a marvel of efficiency built for speed on open plains. Each gallop carries echoes of vanished toes, evolution's edits hidden inside a streamlined stride. And then, in the silent arms race of predator and prey, evolution sharpened its weapons further. Some tiger moths evolved the ability to jam the sonar of bats. With organs called tymbals, they release ultrasonic clicks, confusing the echo maps of their hunters. To human ears, the night remains silent, but to bats, it is static, interference, a false trail. This adaptation mirrors the countermeasures of submarines and warplanes, a biological sonar jamming system millions of years before humans dreamed of radar. Evolution's battlefield is not only claws and teeth, but sound itself. Among the strangest reversals, seahorses stand apart. In nearly all vertebrates, females carry the young, but in seahorses, it is the males who bear the burden. Females deposit eggs into a pouch on the male's body, where he fertilizes and nourishes them until birth. The pouch supplies oxygen, nutrients, and even contractions during delivery. This extraordinary switch of roles frees females to produce more eggs, while males ensure their survival. Evolution here ignored convention and followed only efficiency, rewriting reproduction into something almost unrecognizable, yet profoundly effective. And still deeper underground, the naked mole rat rewrote the rules of pain itself. In their cramped tunnels, thick with carbon dioxide, ordinary nerve responses would mean constant agony. So evolution silenced them. Naked mole rats feel little from acid or capsaicin, the fiery chemical in chili peppers. Pain became irrelevant, turned off like a useless signal. In their dark, airless world, survival demanded numbness, and evolution delivered. But sometimes adaptation is not about silence, but about rhythm and time. Elephants, for instance, wear their lives down with their teeth. Unlike us, they do not grow a single set of adult molars. Instead, their jaws operate like a conveyor belt. New molars form deep inside, slowly moving forward as old ones wear away. 6 times across a lifetime, this cycle repeats. When the final set wears down, the elephant can no longer feed, and often this marks the end of life. Evolution here crafted not just a body, but a clock. Survival measured in teeth, time written in enamel. Through broken genes, lost armor, walking fish, mirrored wolves, traded wings, vanished toes, jamming moths, pregnant fathers, numb rodents, and grinding molars, one truth emerges. Evolution is not about perfection. It is about persistence. It reuses, it reshapes, it refuses to start fresh. And in every bone, every nerve, every adaptation, it leaves behind notes, some sharp, some unfinished, in the never-ending symphony of life. When we think of human diversity, we often focus on culture, language, or tradition. Yet beneath all of these lies a deeper truth. Our very skin carries the signatures of evolution, written in gradients of color across continents. Human skin tone is not one story but many, each sculpted by sunlight. In regions where ultraviolet radiation is intense, evolution favored darker skin, rich in melanin, protecting DNA from damage and preserving folate critical for reproduction. In colder, low-light regions, lighter skin emerged independently, not once but multiple times, enhancing the ability to produce vitamin D. Populations in Africa, India, Europe, and East Asia all bear distinct genetic pathways to similar shades. Skin color, so often misused as a line of division, is in fact a mosaic of adaptive strategies, a patchwork of solutions to the relentless challenge of the sun. Evolution often equips species with abilities far beyond what they seemingly need. Consider the pronghorn antelope of North America, capable of running at speeds over 55 miles per hour, faster than any living predator on the continent. Why evolve such extreme speed? The answer lies in ghosts. During the Ice Age, pronghorns shared their plains with the American cheetah, a predator equally swift. When the cheetah vanished into extinction, the pronghorn kept its astonishing sprint. It now races no enemy, its speed a relic of battles long ended. This is evolution's irony. Sometimes traits outlive their purpose, lingering as echoes of vanished rivals. Inside our own bodies, strange detours reveal the patchwork of design. The recurrent laryngeal nerve, responsible for controlling the voice box, takes a baffling path. Instead of traveling directly from the brain to the throat, it loops down into the chest, circles the aorta, and then returns upward. In giraffes, this detour stretches more than 15 feet. Why such inefficiency? The explanation is historical, not logical. In fish, the nerve wrapped around a nearby artery in a simple short route. As necks lengthened through evolution, the nerve stretched but never rerouted. Evolution remodels the old, but it rarely rewrites. Even in the architecture of our nerves, we carry the compromises of deep time. Plants, too, reveal convergent artistry. In the deserts of the Americas, cacti stand with ribbed stems, spines, and water-storing tissue. Across the world, in Africa, euphorbias display nearly identical forms. Yet these two lineages are distant cousins, not siblings. Their resemblance is born not of shared ancestry, but of shared struggle, the need to conserve water, endure sun, and deter predators. Nature sculpted two families into nearly indistinguishable silhouettes, a deception so complete that only close study can tell them apart. Evolution, when faced with the same pressures, often drafts the same design twice. Our perception of the world is shaped by light, and here too, evolution has improvised. Humans see color through 3 types of cone cells, yet many birds and butterflies see with 4, extending into ultraviolet, perceiving patterns invisible to us. Some mantis shrimp boast up to 16 receptors, living in a kaleidoscope beyond imagination. Even within primates, color vision has been lost and regained. In some lineages, ancestors drifted into dichromatic sight. Then, when fruit and forests demanded recognition of ripening colors, trichromatic vision re-evolved. Evolution does not safeguard traits unless they serve. But when conditions demand, it is willing to reinvent what was once lost. Consider the crocodile, often called a living fossil, a creature unchanged for over 200 million years. From the outside, this seems true. Their armored skin, elongated jaws, and powerful tails mirror ancient ancestors. Yet look closer, and the story shifts. Inside, crocodiles evolved remarkably efficient circulatory systems, allowing them to hold their breath for over an hour. Their hearts are specialized, redirecting blood flow during dives. Their behavior, too, is modern. Mothers guard their nests, vocalize to young, and even herd offspring to safety. Evolution's genius is not always visible in bone or skin. Sometimes it hides in physiology, in the invisible systems that make survival possible. This theme of hidden similarity plays out across entire lineages. Marsupials in Australia evolved wolves, moles, anteaters, and mice, all mirrors of placental mammals elsewhere. Different evolutionary theaters, same ecological pressures, same forms. It is a reminder that life does not invent endlessly. It reuses the shapes that work. When two continents face the same challenges, evolution writes the same characters into the play, even when the scripts began worlds apart. Some adaptations are so specialized they border on the surreal. The woodpecker, for instance, hammers into trees with a force 1,000 times stronger than gravity. Yet its brain does not rattle, its eyes do not rupture. How? Evolution layered protections, a flexible beak tip, spongy bone in the skull, and a tongue bone that wraps around the head like a safety harness. Its eyelids close milliseconds before impact, shielding its retinas. What appears to be reckless pounding is in fact precision engineering, perfected over millions of years. And then there are the flatfish, whose bodies transform into riddles of symmetry. Born like ordinary fish with an eye on each side, they undergo a bizarre metamorphosis. As they grow, one eye migrates across the skull, sliding to join the other. The body tilts, the fish begins to swim sideways, and camouflage becomes complete. Fossils even reveal half-shifted eyes, creatures caught mid-mutation, part symmetrical, part strange. Evolution does not care for beauty or balance. It cares only for what works. And for flatfish, asymmetry became survival. Even fingerprints carry evolutionary surprises. Koalas, climbing trees half a world away, evolved fingerprints so strikingly similar to humans that even under a microscope they are nearly indistinguishable. This is not shared ancestry, but convergent need. Fingerprints provide grip on smooth surfaces, an aid for both tool-making humans and bark-gripping marsupials. Evolution revisited the same idea twice, sculpting whorls and ridges on entirely different hands. from skin tones painted by sunlight to antelopes racing invisible predators, from nerve pathways looping absurdly through our chests to fish whose faces migrate into strange geometry, one theme rings clear. Evolution is not a designer's clean plan. A natural male narrator with a warm, friendly tone. The overall mood is relaxed, engaging, and comfortable, perfect for bedtime reading and space narration. The evolution, here, borrowed from plants, crossing kingdoms to grant a mammal survival in conditions that defy biology. Other animals, meanwhile, demonstrate not escape from oxygen, but an uncanny grasp of human emotion. Dogs, through thousands of years of domestication, evolved an ability that even our closest relatives, chimpanzees, struggle with: reading us. They can track our gaze, understand pointing gestures, and respond to the subtleties of tone and expression. This wasn't hardwired from the beginning. Early dogs that better understood human moods were more likely to be fed, protected, and trusted. Over generations, evolution sculpted them into companions whose loyalty is written not just in behavior, but in biology. Your dog doesn't merely love you, it is genetically tuned to understand you in ways that blur the line between instinct and empathy. Yet if dogs connect to us, some creatures connect directly to themselves at a molecular level. Octopuses, masters of the deep, carry the rare ability to edit their own RNA. Unlike DNA, which is fixed, RNA is the script that translates genetic instructions into proteins. By editing RNA, octopuses can temporarily rewrite which proteins their bodies produce, effectively adapting to environmental changes in real time. It's as if they hold an evolutionary keyboard, improvising on the fly, without altering the permanent text of their DNA. The price is high. Their mutation rates are unusually low, suggesting long-term evolution is slowed. But in the chaos of the ocean, short-term adaptability is everything. The result, animals that can squeeze through cracks, camouflage in seconds, and outthink predators with alien intelligence. Meanwhile, the skies themselves are brighter and more colorful than we can ever see. Birds are gifted with 4 types of color receptors, compared to our 3, extending their vision into ultraviolet. What looks drab to us, the plain brown of a sparrow, the muted feathers of a pigeon, explodes into hidden patterns under UV light. For them, the world is painted in a spectrum beyond our imagination. Feathers that appear dull may blaze with signals for mating or territory when viewed through avian eyes. This expanded perception shapes entire ecosystems, influencing who mates with whom, who survives, and who vanishes. To birds, the world is not what we think. In the sea, some animals blurred the boundary between plant and animal. The emerald sea slug has evolved to steal chloroplasts, the microscopic engines of photosynthesis, from the algae it eats. These chloroplasts continue functioning inside the slug's body, turning sunlight into energy. For a time, the slug becomes solar-powered, glowing green as if it were a leaf crawling along the ocean floor. Genes from algae even appear to have woven themselves into the slug's DNA, allowing the stolen chloroplasts to persist. It is theft turned survival, one kingdom borrowing the tools of another, proving that evolution's creativity knows no boundaries. Back on land, strangeness continues. In New Zealand, the kiwi bird defied the logic of its avian kin. Instead of relying on sight, kiwis evolved an extraordinary sense of smell. Their nostrils sit at the tips of their long beaks, allowing them to sniff out worms and insects buried deep in soil. In the darkness of the forest floor, this adaptation made vision unnecessary. Their evolution is a quiet defiance of birdkind, showing that even in a lineage famed for flight and eyesight, survival can hinge on the nose. The underground world tells similar tales. Marsupial moles in Australia and true moles elsewhere in the world look almost identical, small, blind, with shovel-like hands for digging. Yet they are not related. One belongs to the marsupial lineage, the other to placental mammals. Their resemblance is another eerie case of convergent evolution, shaped by the same demand, tunneling through Earth. Two unrelated scripts, one identical solution. Even plants have become tricksters. Certain orchids evolved to mimic the exact shape, color, and even scent of female insects. Male bees and wasps, lured by the illusion, attempt to mate with the flowers. In the process, they pick up pollen and carry it to the next bloom. This deception is so precise it can target specific insect species. It is seduction without reward, illusion as survival strategy. Evolution here has mastered not just adaptation, but manipulation. And spiders, patient weavers of silk, reveal the same endless layering of invention. Each species produces not one, but multiple types of silk, sticky for webs, strong for structure, elastic for wrapping prey, delicate for egg sacs. Each comes from separate glands, specialized over millions of years. Some silks rival steel in strength, others outstretch Kevlar in elasticity. Humanity struggles to replicate these materials in laboratories, yet evolution perfected them silently, strand by strand, long before we existed. From oxygen-starved rodents to empathetic dogs, from self-rewriting octopuses to ultraviolet birds, from solar-powered slugs to trickster orchids and silk-spinning spiders, one truth emerges. Evolution is not linear progress. It is improvisation, weaving new possibilities from old foundations, defying categories and creating hybrids that astonish. It is not guided by intent, but by survival. And yet, its outcomes often feel like the work of imagination itself. Electricity, light, and sound, forces we think of as belonging to technology, have long been mastered by evolution. Across oceans and rivers, in the depths of jungles and swamps, life has shaped these tools not with wires and machines, but with flesh, bone, and ingenuity written in genes. Consider electric fish. From South America to Africa, different lineages independently evolved organs that generate electricity. In weakly electric species like knifefish, these discharges form invisible maps, allowing them to navigate murky waters and even communicate through pulses like coded messages in the dark. In the electric eel, however, the adaptation became a weapon. Its modified muscle cells no longer contract, they discharge. Layered together, they release jolts powerful enough to stun prey or deter predators. What we built in laboratories with circuits, nature built in rivers with tissue. Evolution did not invent electricity, it borrowed it, reshaping muscle into a living battery. Equally surprising is kinship hidden in the evolutionary tree. Bats, though small, nocturnal, and rodent-like in appearance, are not closely related to mice at all. Genetic studies show they share a closer lineage with whales, ocean giants with no wings and no furred faces. Together, they belong to a larger group of mammals called Lorisiatheria. This reminder is humbling. Appearances can mislead. Wings, whiskers, and squeaks might suggest kinship with rodents, but DNA reveals a deeper truth. The bat and whale are closer cousins than the bat and mouse. Evolution's branches do not grow in straight lines. They twist, surprising us, defying the logic of sight. Sometimes evolution even rewrites life cycles themselves. Most frogs live a dual existence, first as tadpoles in water, then as adults on land. But some species skipped the watery childhood altogether. Their eggs, laid in trees or on damp soil, hatch directly into miniature frogs. No tadpole phase, no gilled youth. In others, parents carry the young on their backs or inside their bodies, bypassing the pond entirely. It is as if evolution, unsatisfied with metamorphosis, decided to test alternate scripts. Life cycles, once thought fixed, are flexible, revised according to survival's demands. In Mexico, the axolotl chose another path: eternal youth. Unlike most salamanders, it never fully metamorphosizes. Instead, it retains its larval traits, gills, fins, aquatic body, even as it becomes sexually mature. It is a creature that lives its whole life in a juvenile state, reproducing without ever growing up. Scientists call this neoteny, but to the axolotl, it is simply survival. In the calm lakes it inhabits, there is no need to risk the energy of transformation. Evolution allowed it to remain forever young, an amphibian that froze its development at the stage best suited for its environment. Even birds, often dismissed as ordinary city dwellers, hide startling intelligence. Pigeons, long companions of human history, have demonstrated mirror self-recognition, a test of awareness so demanding that only a handful of species pass it. With proper training, pigeons recognize a colored mark on their own feathers in a mirror, attempting to remove it. They know the reflection is themselves, not another bird. This kind of self-awareness was once thought unique to apes, dolphins, or elephants. But here, in the flutter of gray wings over city streets, evolution produced a mind capable of seeing the self. Intelligence, it seems, is not confined to one branch of life. It emerges wherever survival rewards it. In Madagascar, the nocturnal aye-aye pushes evolution's creativity further. With large eyes, bat-like ears, and a grotesquely long, thin middle finger, it forages in darkness by tapping on wood, listening for hollow spots. Then, like a surgeon, it slips the finger inside, hooking out hidden grubs. It is tool use without tools, a hunting method evolved from bone and behavior together. Part primate, part woodpecker, part bat, the aye-aye is a mosaic of solutions, a reminder that evolution creates not by design, but by recombination of traits into new, astonishing purposes. Meanwhile, in the forests of Asia, gibbons swing with grace no machine can match. Their arms are long, their bodies light, but it is their wrists that carry the secret. Instead of hinge joints like ours, their wrists are ball and socket, allowing extraordinary rotation and reducing strain as they swing hand over hand through the canopy. Combined with immense shoulder strength and elongated fingers, this adaptation allows gibbons to soar more than 30 feet in a single swing, as fluid as a pendulum. Evolution did not give them wings, it turned their very skeleton into a machine of flight. And in the slow-motion world of sloths, survival took an opposite route. Instead of speed, they evolved patience. Their stomachs are vast, multi-chambered, filled with microbes that break down tough leaves at a glacial pace. A single meal may take over 2 weeks to digest. Their bodies, nearly motionless, conserve energy so efficiently that predators often overlook them entirely. Evolution here chose invisibility through stillness. By doing less, the sloth survives longer. Even the tiniest creatures leave astonishing marks. Certain barnacles have abandoned rocks and ships to live embedded in the skin of whales. They burrow into the thick flesh, anchoring themselves to a living host, filtering plankton as their massive carrier swims. Some barnacle species are found only on specific whale species, their entire life cycle dependent on a single moving habitat. To evolution, even a whale is not just an animal, but an ecosystem, a floating reef. In South America, vampire bats perfected a more chilling adaptation. They evolved heat-sensitive pits on their noses, allowing them to detect blood vessels beneath the skin of their prey. This thermal vision, similar to that of some snakes, evolved independently, another case of convergence. Paired with razor-sharp teeth and anticoagulant saliva, vampire bats do not just feed. They see blood, tracing warmth like predators with built-in night vision scopes. These stories of electric rivers, ageless salamanders, flying primates, patient sloths, and blood-seeing bats all underline the same message. Evolution is not a march toward perfection. It is a kaleidoscope of experiments. Some succeed spectacularly, some seem bizarre, but all endure, written into the bodies of creatures that thrive in niches no one else could occupy. The natural world is filled with creatures that seem stitched together from contradictions, as though evolution delighted in breaking rules to see what new shapes might emerge. Each is a reminder that survival does not always reward the ordinary. Sometimes it favors the improbable. Take the platypus, a genetic puzzle and evolutionary outlier. Not only does it lay eggs like a reptile and nurse its young like a mammal, but males also carry venomous spurs on their hind legs. Most mammals have 2 sex chromosomes, but the platypus has 10, 5X and 5Y, forming a reproductive chain so complex scientists are still deciphering it. Some of these chromosomes resemble those of birds, suggesting a glimpse into ancient systems long vanished. The platypus is not an evolutionary mistake. It is a living museum, its very body a record of branching paths that diverged and yet survived, proving that nature preserves not just the efficient but also the strange. Plants, too, can be monuments of stability. Certain ferns, found in fossil beds dating back 180 million years, are virtually identical to those growing today. They have outlasted the rise and fall of dinosaurs, mass extinctions, and climate shifts without changing their design. Their secret is resilience, reproducing with hardy spores, tolerating poor soil, and thriving in diverse habitats. Where other species vanished, ferns endured, not by innovation, but by constancy. Sometimes the best evolutionary strategy is not reinvention, but persistence. Contrast that with the jellyfish, one of Earth's oldest lineages, whose radical adaptation is both alien and lethal. Their stinging cells, clinidocytes, are biological harpoons, firing venom with explosive speed upon contact. This weapon evolved independently of all other animal defenses, unmatched in complexity despite the jellyfish lacking a brain. They drift through the oceans, simple yet deadly, a half-billion-year-old reminder that intelligence is not the only path to dominance. Reflex, chemistry, and patience can suffice. But while jellyfish float without thought, other species bind themselves in devotion. Seahorses, unlike most fish, form monogamous pairs. Males carry fertilized eggs in a pouch, providing oxygen, nutrients, and protection until birth. Couples meet each day in ritual dances, reinforcing bonds before parting to forage. In a sea where most creatures spawn anonymously, seahorses chose fidelity. Evolution did not design this for romance, but for efficiency. In their tangled habitats, pairing ensures reproductive success. Yet to us, it looks like tenderness, a biological marriage written in tales that entwine. Some adaptations take loyalty to an extreme. In the rainforests of Southeast Asia, certain ants have evolved to sacrifice themselves violently for the colony. When threatened, they contract abdominal muscles so forcefully that their bodies rupture, releasing sticky, toxic chemicals that immobilize enemies.
This suicidal defense, known as autothysis, is not bravery, but biology. By trading their lives for the colony's survival, these ants embody evolution's most brutal logic. The success of the group outweighs the individual. Other creatures cheat death by retreating into stasis. Lungfish, ancient survivors, burrow into mud when drought dries their lakes.
Sealed in a cocoon of mucus, they enter estivation, a suspended animation where metabolism slows to almost nothing. They can endure months, even years, without water, waiting patiently for rain. When storms return, they emerge, as if resurrected. This ability evolved over millions of years in landscapes of feast and famine. For lungfish, survival meant not just adaptation to change, but the power to outlast it. Among birds, parrots demonstrate evolution's fascination with language itself. They are among the few non-human animals capable of true vocal learning. Not just instinctive calls, but imitation, memory, and dialects passed between generations. Wild flocks develop regional accents, while captive parrots mimic human voices with uncanny accuracy. This talent evolved independently of human speech, yet parallels it in function. Evolution gave parrots the ability to learn, adapt, and create culture, not through genes, but through sound. In their chatter, we glimpse the building blocks of language itself. In the crushing darkness of the deep ocean, anglerfish turn survival into partnership. Their glowing lures are not their own creation, but the work of symbiotic bacteria, housed in specialized organs above their mouths. These microbes, found nowhere else, live only in anglerfish. In return, they emit light through bioluminescence, attracting prey in the void. It is a perfect pact, fish and bacteria bound by necessity. Evolution here forged an alliance across kingdoms, generating light in a world of endless night. On land, the towering giraffe carries its own marvels, not only in bones, but in blood. To pump blood to its elevated brain, the giraffe's heart is enormous, its arterial walls thick, its pressure twice that of a human's. Valves in its neck prevent backflow when it lowers its head, ensuring it does not collapse from its own circulation. A natural male narrator voice with a warm, friendly tone. Fluid and easy to follow, like a light science podcast. Keep your voice clear and coherent with a gentle intonation that is both intelligent and soothing. Use pauses when necessary. The overall mood should be relaxed, engaging, and comfortable, perfect for bedtime reading and space narration. The tempo should be around 0.90. Without these adaptations, a simple drink of water would be fatal. Evolution did not only lengthen the neck, it rewired the hidden hydraulics of the body, solving a problem as dangerous as any predator. And in deserts, camels carry a secret within their blood. Unlike most mammals, whose red blood cells are round, camels are oval. This shape allows their blood to flow even when water loss dehydrates them by up to 25%, a level fatal to nearly every other creature. When water returns, their blood expands safely without rupturing. Evolution did not only gift camels humps and stamina, it reshaped their blood at the microscopic level, allowing them to endure one of the harshest environments on Earth. Each of these adaptations, eggs in a mammal, unchanged ferns, suicidal ants, hibernating fish, talking parrots, glowing partnerships, towering blood pressure, and oval cells, speaks the same truth. Evolution is not a path toward perfection. It is a field of experiments. Some succeed through strangeness. Others endure through simplicity. Together, they form the great mosaic of life, improbable, astonishing, and real. The greatest wonder of evolution is not only in the creatures alive today, but in the strange transitional forms that reveal how the impossible became real.
Fossils are not just bones in stone. They are snapshots of experiments, half-finished bodies that bridge the gaps between worlds. Take Archaeopteryx, discovered in Germany in the 19th century. At first glance, it looked like a small dinosaur, jaws lined with teeth, clawed fingers, a long bony tail. But sprouting from its arms were feathers, broad and veined, unmistakably built for flight. It was not quite bird, not quite reptile, but a mosaic of both.
Archaeopteryx is proof that flight did not appear suddenly, but grew from gliding, leaping, and flapping experiments among dinosaurs. Every pigeon and sparrow today carries a shadow of that in-between form, a memory of the first time scales began to shift into feathers. Other fossils reveal the origins of our own bodies. Australopithecus afarensis, famously represented by the skeleton nicknamed Lucy, walked upright more than 3 million years ago. Yet she still climbed trees, her long arms and curved fingers built for gripping branches. Her hips and knees, however, already bore the stamp of bipedalism. Lucy stood at the crossroads between ape and human, proof that walking on 2 legs came long before big brains or stone tools. Evolution does not wait to perfect one trait before trying another. It layers them unevenly, like brushstrokes in a painting. Sometimes fossils record not beginnings but endings. The Irish elk, one of the largest deer ever to live, bore antlers spanning over 12 feet across. For thousands of years, they were symbols of dominance, weapons in mating battles. But in the shifting climates after the Ice Age, their massive size became a burden, demanding energy and resources that grew scarce. By about 7,000 years ago, they were gone, a reminder that evolution produces excess as often as balance, and survival is always tied to change. Extinctions leave ghosts, but evolution also creates survivors that defy belief. The coelacanth, thought extinct for 65 million years, was rediscovered alive in 1938, hauled from the depths off the coast of South Africa. With fleshy lobed fins and a hinged skull, it is a relic of the Devonian seas, a fish that once explored the threshold of land. To see one alive is to glimpse time itself, a lineage thought erased, still swimming quietly in the dark. Some evolutionary experiments endure not in fossils, but in living creatures that blur categories. The axolotl, as we saw, refuses adulthood. The echidna, like the platypus, lays eggs but nurses young. The horseshoe crab, crawling along shores, carries blue blood rich in copper, used today in medicine to test for bacterial contamination. Its design has changed little in 450 million years. These creatures are not primitive, as we once thought. They are perfected for survival, needing no further alteration. Even humans carry echoes of unfinished stories. The wisdom teeth that often plague us are relics of larger jaws in our ancestors, designed for grinding coarse plant material. As our diets softened and our skulls reshaped to house larger brains, jaws shrank, but the blueprint for extra molars remained. Now they often emerge painfully, impacted against smaller bones, a mismatch between old design and modern form. Likewise, the muscles to move our ears, or the tiny hairs that raise in goosebumps, are remnants of a past when our ancestors relied on sharper senses and insulating fur. We are not cleanly modern. We are patched together from parts that once mattered deeply. And even in our genes, ancient infections lie buried. Endogenous retroviruses, long-dead viruses that once invaded our ancestors' cells, now make up nearly 8% of the human genome. Some of these viral fragments are broken junk, but others were repurposed. One, crucially, helps form the placenta, enabling mammals to nourish young inside the womb. Without an ancient viral invasion, pregnancy as we know it might never have evolved. Evolution does not merely erase the past, it recycles it, turning old enemies into essential allies. The overall mood is the paradox of evolution. It is at once ruthless and forgiving, blind and ingenious. It shapes creatures into forms so strange they seem impossible. Birds with dinosaur bones, fish with wrists, viruses turned into wombs. It leaves behind relics that ache in our jaws, or genes that whisper of long-vanished infections. And through fossils, it gives us glimpses of chapters long closed, showing that the story of life is never a straight line, but a series of experiments, some fleeting, some eternal. The tale is unfinished. Each living thing is both a survivor and a fossil in progress. The bodies we carry today are not the final draft, but a temporary version, waiting for tomorrow's edits. Evolution is still writing, still revising, still searching for what works. Evolution not only shapes bodies and bones, it shapes behaviors, instincts, even emotions. The way creatures live, mate, cooperate, or fight is as much a product of natural selection as feathers or fins. Sometimes the strangest strategies emerge not from anatomy, but from survival's social stage. Take meerkats, small desert dwellers that thrive through cooperation. In their colonies, individuals take turns standing guard, scanning the horizon for hawks or snakes. A sentinel risks its own safety to warn the group, giving alarm calls that send others scattering underground. This selflessness is not kindness in the human sense, but the arithmetic of evolution. The survival of kin ensures the survival of shared genes. By protecting relatives, even at personal cost, the meerkat helps its own lineage endure. Similarly, in the icy seas, emperor penguins embody endurance through community. They huddle in vast groups, rotating positions so no bird suffers too long on the frigid edge. This collective shield against Antarctica's brutal winds allows chicks to survive where no solitary parent could. Evolution here is not about strength or speed, but about unity, survival through shared warmth. Some behaviors push cooperation even further into astonishing extremes. In Africa, driver ants form living bridges with their own bodies. Tens of thousands link legs and jaws, creating highways across gaps or rivers. Others march across them, carrying prey or larvae to safety. The colony becomes a single organism, flexible and dynamic, made of countless individuals sacrificing autonomy for collective power. To see such a march is to glimpse evolution's ability to turn many into one. But evolution also crafts deception, turning survival into trickery. The cuckoo bird lays its eggs in the nests of other species, abandoning them to foster parents. The chicks hatch earlier, grow faster, and often eject their nestmates, monopolizing care. To the duped parents, the massive fledgling still triggers the same instinct to feed. Natural selection fine-tuned this fraud. Cuckoo eggs often mimic the color and size of the host's eggs, ensuring they go unnoticed. Here, survival is theft, parasitism disguised as parenthood. In the insect world, deception can be chemical. Some butterfly caterpillars evolved to mimic the scent of ant larvae. Tricked by smell, ants carry the caterpillars into their nests, feeding and protecting them as if they were their own young. Inside the fortress, the imposters devour food and sometimes the ants' real brood. This is mimicry at the molecular level, where survival depends not on strength but on fooling another species' senses. Even the line between predator and prey can blur. In the Amazon, the anglerfish's lure is not the only case of baiting. Certain spiders evolved markings that resemble flowers, attracting pollinating insects. A natural male narrator webs in patterns that mimic struggling prey, luring in curious rivals. In these encounters, deception becomes as sharp a weapon as claws or venom. Meanwhile, in our own species, the fingerprints of evolution mark behavior in ways we rarely notice. The human preference for sweet and fatty foods, for instance, traces back to scarcity. In ancient environments where calories were rare, craving energy-dense food meant survival. Today, in abundance, the same craving fuels obesity. Our instincts are mismatched with our modern world, ancient programs running in new conditions. Evolution does not plan for the future. It only remembers what once worked. Even emotions themselves carry evolutionary weight. Fear, for example, primes muscles and senses for survival. But the things we fear most, snakes, spiders, heights, reflect dangers that haunted our ancestors. Far fewer people feel instinctive terror of cars or electricity, even though they are deadlier in modern life. Our biology is still tuned to a Stone Age world. And yet, within this imperfect inheritance, evolution gave rise to cooperation, empathy, and love. Parental care, pair bonds, social groups, all evolved not because they are noble, but because they help genes persist. But out of those cold calculations, warm realities emerged. The trust of a dog for its owner, the tenderness of a penguin pair, the solidarity of a meerkat guard. Life, then, is not just shaped in bone and skin, but in choices, instincts, and emotions. Evolution writes not only the architecture of bodies, but the choreography of survival. Every call, every huddle, every betrayal, and every embrace is part of the same ancient script. Evolution's stage is not limited to the visible. Much of its brilliance lies hidden in the microscopic, in molecules, cells, and chemical signals that orchestrate life's endless variations. If bones are the fossils we can see, then DNA and proteins are the fossils we carry inside, living archives of ancient choices. Consider the genetic code itself. Across all of life, from bacteria to whales, the same four-letter alphabet of DNA writes the instructions for existence. This code is so universal that genes from a jellyfish can be inserted into a mouse, causing it to glow, or human insulin can be manufactured by bacteria engineered with our DNA. Such compatibility is no accident. It is the legacy of a single origin. Every creature alive is fluent in the same ancient language, one written billions of years ago in a primordial cell. Yet evolution constantly edits this script, leaving behind strange notes. For instance, humans carry genes for making vitamin C, but they are broken. Our primate ancestors once synthesized it, but mutations silenced the pathway. Today, we must obtain vitamin C from fruit and vegetables. If we fail, scurvy follows, gums bleeding, wounds reopening, bones weakening. This vulnerability is not a flaw of design, but a relic of history. When our fruit-rich ancestors no longer needed to produce vitamin C, natural selection allowed the gene to decay. It is the price of abundance turned into fragility. Viruses, too, have written themselves into our DNA. As mentioned before, nearly 8% of the human genome consists of ancient viral remnants. Some lie dormant, never to awaken. Others were repurposed. One vital viral gene helps cells fuse to form the placenta, enabling mammals to carry young within the womb. Without a viral invasion millions of years ago, mammals might never have existed in their modern form.
Evolution, ruthless in battle, is also shameless in theft. It steals from enemies and converts them into allies. Even the microscopic engines inside our cells, the mitochondria, are the descendants of an ancient partnership. Billions of years ago, a free-living bacterium was engulfed by another cell. Instead of being digested, it survived, striking a pact. It would provide energy in exchange for shelter. Over time, the bacterium became inseparable, losing its independence, but powering the rise of complex life. Every heartbeat, every breath, every thought you have is fueled by the remnants of that ancient merger. In a sense, each of us is a chimera, part human, part bacterial colony, proof that cooperation is as central to evolution as competition. At the cellular level, adaptation unfolds in ingenious ways. Some microbes thrive in boiling hot springs at temperatures above 100 degrees Celsius, where DNA should unravel and proteins melt. Others survive in salt lakes so concentrated they would desiccate ordinary cells. These extremophiles demonstrate evolution's reach. Life is not bound to comfort. It can carve out niches at the edges of possibility, reminding us that what we call inhospitable is only a matter of perspective. Even our own cells carry reminders of compromise. Human childbirth, for instance, is notoriously difficult compared to other primates. The reason lies in evolutionary trade-offs. Walking upright narrowed the pelvis, while expanding brains demanded larger skulls. The result is a dangerous bottleneck, where infants are born vulnerable and dependent. This fragility, however, also forged humanity's strength. Long childhoods created space for learning, cooperation, and culture. What seems like a flaw, painful births, helpless infants, became the foundation of language, art, and civilization. Evolution's gifts are often hidden inside its burdens, and sometimes the burden is simply inefficiency. The human eye, for example, has a blind spot where the optic nerve exits the retina. Octopuses whose eyes evolved independently have no such flaw. Their nerves run behind the retina, not across it. Yet our imperfect design persists because it is good enough. Evolution does not aim for perfection. It works with what exists, layering solutions on top of compromises. We see not because our eyes are flawless, but because they function well enough for survival. Even our ability to age is an evolutionary puzzle. Why do bodies deteriorate at all? The answer lies in trade-offs. Natural selection strongly favors traits that improve survival and reproduction early in life, even if they carry costs later. Genes that repair DNA or regulate cell growth may falter with age, but by then, reproduction has often already occurred. In this sense, aging is not a failure of evolution. It is its byproduct. We are built not for immortality, but for passing on life. From broken vitamin pathways to viral genes in placentas, from bacterial partners in our cells to eyes designed with flaws, the lesson is clear. Evolution is not a master engineer. It is a tinkerer. It borrows, recycles, compromises, and reuses. What matters is not elegance, but endurance. And so the tiniest details of your body, the mitochondria fueling your cells, the blind spots in your vision, the fragility of your bones, the echoes of viruses in your DNA, are all testaments to evolution's restless creativity. You are not a perfect design. You are a survival story, written line by line across billions of years. If evolution is a story of survival, then extinction is its shadow, the closing of chapters, the silencing of lineages that once thrived.
To understand evolution fully, we must also look at what was lost, because every vanished species leaves traces that shaped the world that followed. Consider the trilobites, armored arthropods that once dominated Earth's oceans. For nearly 270 million years, they thrived in countless forms, some with spines, some with bulging eyes, others small and smooth. Then, during the Great Permian extinction, they disappeared forever. Yet their fossilized remains taught scientists about the earliest complex eyes, about ocean ecosystems that no longer exist. Extinction is not just erasure, it is punctuation, a pause that allows new experiments to rise. Some extinctions are more recent and feel like wounds.
The dodo, a flightless bird of Mauritius, vanished in the 1600s after sailors hunted it and introduced invasive animals. Within less than a century of contact with humans, it was gone. Yet even in absence, the dodo left marks. Seeds of certain trees, once dependent on passing through its digestive tract, struggled to germinate. The bird's extinction rippled outward, altering the forest itself. Evolution is never an isolated process. Each species is a thread in a larger weave. Pull one out and the fabric shifts. Other creatures linger on the edge of disappearance, survivors of past ages. The tuatara of New Zealand looks like a lizard, but it is the last of a lineage older than dinosaurs. It carries a third parietal eye on its head, light-sensitive, though not for vision, a relic of ancient reptilian ancestors. Protected in sanctuaries today, it is a living fossil, whispering of worlds that no longer exist. Some extinctions reshape not only ecosystems but entire evolutionary directions. When the asteroid struck 66 million years ago, it ended the reign of non-avian dinosaurs. Yet in that devastation, mammals, once small, nocturnal, and overshadowed, seized opportunity. From shrew-like ancestors emerged elephants, whales, primates, and eventually humans. If the asteroid had missed, we might never have existed. Extinction, though tragic, is also creative. It clears the stage for new players. But extinction is not always natural. Human influence has accelerated it to staggering levels. The passenger pigeon, once numbering billions across North America, darkened skies for hours in their migrations. By 1914, relentless hunting and habitat loss had driven them to zero. From abundance to nothing in less than a century. This rapid erasure reveals how fragile success can be, how even dominance provides no immunity to change. Yet even extinction can lead to rebirth of sorts. Scientists are now exploring de-extinction, using preserved DNA to revive traits of vanished species, mammoths, passenger pigeons, even dodos. Whether this is restoration or hubris is debated. Evolution itself cannot be rewound, but humanity, through technology, now holds power to bend its course, for better or worse. And while species vanish, others emerge before our eyes. On islands, insects, birds, and lizards diversify with astonishing speed, evolving into distinct species in a few thousand years. In East Africa, cichlid fish in Lakes Victoria, Malawi, and Tanganyika exploded into hundreds of species, each adapted to a different niche. Some scraping algae from rocks, others hunting other fish, others sifting sand for insects. Evolution does not sleep. Even as some doors close, new ones open, sometimes in the span of a human lifetime. Perhaps the clearest proof that evolution continues is in us. Wisdom teeth, shrinking jaws, lactose tolerance in certain populations, resistance to malaria through sickle cell mutations, and adaptations to high altitude among Tibetans and Andeans all show that humanity is still evolving. The process did not end when civilization began. It never ends. Extinction and survival, loss and renewal, these are the alternating currents of evolution. The trilobite's fall made space for fish to flourish. The dinosaur's demise opened skies and forests for mammals and birds. Even now, as we accelerate extinctions, new species adapt in the margins, waiting for their moment. Evolution is not a story of endless progress. It is a story of experiments, some cut short, others enduring, all temporary. Every species, from trilobite to human, walks the same narrow path between survival and disappearance. The only question is how long it lasts and what comes after. When we pull back from individual fossils and species, a larger rhythm emerges, the story of mass extinctions. These are not small losses, but planetary resets, moments when life itself was nearly erased, only to reinvent itself in astonishing new forms. The most devastating came 252 million years ago, at the end of the Permian period, the so-called Great Dying. More than 90% of marine species and 70% of land species vanished. Oceans grew acidic, oxygen plummeted, and volcanic eruptions darkened the sky with ash and carbon dioxide. Forests collapsed. Insects, once abundant, suffered their only known mass extinction. For millions of years, Earth was nearly silent. Yet from this devastation rose the ancestors of modern reptiles, the first true mammals, and eventually the great age of the dinosaurs. Later, 66 million years ago, another cataclysm struck. An asteroid 6 miles wide slammed into what is now Mexico, unleashing firestorms, earthquakes, and a global winter. The age of dinosaurs ended in a geological heartbeat. In that absence, mammals radiated into niches once sealed off. Burrowers became grazers, tree dwellers became primates, and some primates, against all odds, began the long path toward humanity. Mass extinctions remind us that evolution is not only creativity, but resilience. Life recovers, though never in the same way. Each great loss reshapes the stage, opening roles for new actors, silencing others forever. Without catastrophe, the world we know, the species we are, might never have existed. But while the past was written by meteors and volcanoes, the present crisis is written by us. Today, scientists warn we may be entering a sixth mass extinction, driven not by nature, but by human activity. Deforestation, pollution, climate change, overhunting. Species vanish at rates thousands of times higher than the natural background. Amphibians, coral reefs, large mammals all teeter at the edge. The same evolutionary forces that shaped life for billions of years now collide with human technology, creating pressures too fast for many creatures to endure. And yet, even in this turmoil, life adapts. Urban environments, hostile to so many, have become laboratories for rapid evolution. Peregrine falcons now nest on skyscrapers, hunting pigeons in concrete canyons. Coyotes roam cities at night, their diets shifting to human scraps. Some insects have evolved resistance to pesticides within decades. Even the humble mosquito has diverged into city-loving lineages that breed in underground subways instead of ponds. Evolution does not stop, even in the shadows of human dominance. In fact, humans themselves are participants in this ongoing experiment. Populations living in the Himalayas and Andes developed distinct genetic adaptations to high-altitude life, one conserving oxygen more efficiently, the other producing more red blood cells.
In regions with long histories of dairy farming, lactose tolerance evolved, allowing adults to digest milk, a trait absent in most of the world. Resistance to malaria shaped the sickle cell gene, while in colder climates, genetic changes aided in fat storage and metabolism. Evolution continues to edit us quietly as we walk through the modern world. But evolution also transcends Earth. Some scientists wonder how life might adapt beyond our planet. In sealed biospheres, on spacecraft, or on colonies imagined for Mars, humans and microbes will face unfamiliar pressures: radiation, low gravity, enclosed ecosystems. Already, studies on astronauts show that long stays in orbit alter gene expression, bone density, and even the length of telomeres, the caps on DNA. If humanity endures in space for generations, evolution will follow, sculpting new forms for new worlds. This is perhaps evolution's deepest truth. It is ceaseless. From single cells in boiling seas, to trilobites and dinosaurs, to humans dreaming of other planets, the process never stops. Each extinction, each catastrophe, each migration writes a new line in the same endless book.
And so, when you look at your reflection, you are not just seeing yourself. You are seeing an unbroken thread that stretches back 3.5 billion years, through every ancestor that survived just long enough to pass on life. You are both the latest chapter and a draft still in progress. Evolution is not done with you, with any of us. It never will be. If evolution is the author of life, then we are both its product and its next experiment. For the first time in Earth's history, a species has begun to consciously shape the course of its own evolution and that of others. Humanity has become both participant and engineer, carrying tools powerful enough to accelerate, redirect, or even defy natural selection. We see this most clearly in genetics. With CRISPR and other editing technologies, scientists can now snip and rewrite DNA with precision. Diseases caused by single mutations, such as sickle cell anemia, are already being treated at the genetic level. Crops are engineered to resist drought or pests, reshaping agriculture in ways that would have taken natural evolution thousands of years. In laboratories, scientists insert fluorescent jellyfish genes into animals, not for survival, but to study biology. This is evolution under human hands, deliberate, rapid, and experimental. But such power carries weight. If natural selection is ruthless yet impartial, human-driven evolution raises questions of ethics and foresight. Should we resurrect extinct species? Should we design children free of disease, or stronger, smarter, taller? Each decision alters not just individuals, but potentially the trajectory of our entire species. Evolution has always been blind. Now it peers through our eyes, uncertain of where we will guide it. Yet, long before gene editing, humans were already shaping evolution through domestication. Every loaf of bread, every ear of corn, every loyal dog is evidence of artificial selection. Wolves became partners, bred over millennia into guardians, hunters, and companions. Wild grasses were coaxed into wheat, their seeds swollen and nourishing. Tiny bitter apples transformed into orchards of sweet fruit. In these acts, humans became agents of selection, rewarding traits not for survival in the wild, but for usefulness to us. Evolution bent around human desire. But not all influence is intentional. Our cities, roads, and industries create new selective pressures. Birds that once migrated long distances now linger year-round near urban food sources. Insects resistant to pesticides flourish, while others collapse. Even bacteria, multiplying in hospitals and farms, evolve faster than we can invent new antibiotics. Evolution dances with us, responding to every choice we make, every structure we build, every substance we release. The most striking example of this partnership and conflict is antibiotic resistance. Within a few decades of penicillin's discovery, bacteria evolved enzymes that destroyed it. Each new drug sparked a new countermeasure, an arms race unfolding in real time. To watch bacteria evolve is to watch natural selection unmasked, swift, efficient, and merciless. In their survival, they remind us that evolution is not a past event, but a process happening now, inside our hospitals and our bodies. Even culture itself acts as a kind of evolutionary force. Ideas, technologies, and behaviors spread, mutate, and compete, much like genes. Some scientists call these units memes, cultural replicators that evolve by imitation and transmission. Language, music, belief systems, even the design of tools and machines evolve in this way. The human mind became not only a product of evolution, but a stage for a new, parallel process of selection. And as we look outward, toward Mars, toward the stars, we face a new question. What will evolution make of us in environments never seen before? In low gravity, bones weaken, muscles shrink, and fluids shift toward the head. In higher radiation, DNA mutates faster. If humans settle other worlds, they may slowly diverge, new branches of our species adapted to alien skies. For the first time, evolution could unfold across planets, crafting variations of humanity as distinct as any species on Earth. Perhaps this has always been evolution's purpose, not perfection, but diversity, branching outward into endless forms. Dinosaurs once filled the skies, then birds. Fish once ruled the seas, then whales. Primates once clung to trees, then walked into cities. Now humans may step beyond Earth, carrying not only their genes, but the microbes, plants, and animals bound to them, creating ecosystems on worlds untouched. The story of evolution is not finished. It never will be. It is not a tale with a final chapter, but an ongoing manuscript written in bone, in DNA, in behavior, in technology, in imagination itself. We are both characters and co-authors, shaped by forces older than mountains, yet bold enough to shape them in return. Step back far enough, and evolution reveals itself not just as biology, but as cosmic continuity. The story of life is inseparable from the story of the universe. The atoms in your blood were forged in ancient stars. The carbon in your bones, the iron in your hemoglobin, the calcium in your teeth, all were born in stellar furnaces, scattered by supernovae, recycled into planets, oceans, and eventually into you. Evolution on Earth is the child of astrophysics. Life is the universe becoming aware of itself. When Earth first cooled, chemistry became biology. Simple molecules clashed, combined, and occasionally endured. From that persistence, the first cells emerged, fragile yet capable of replication. Over billions of years, these cells experimented with cooperation, forming multicellular bodies, tissues, and organs. Eventually, minds arose, nervous systems that could sense, remember, and act. And finally, consciousness appeared, a strange phenomenon where evolution turned survival into self-awareness. This progression was not inevitable, but contingent, shaped by chance, catastrophe, and adaptation. Yet it carries an undeniable direction, from simplicity toward complexity, from mere existence toward reflection. You, sitting here, are not separate from trilobites or dinosaurs or ferns. The overall mood, with a warm, friendly tone, fluid and easy to follow, like a light science podcast. Keep your voice clear and coherent, with a gentle intonation that is both intelligent and soothing. Use pauses when necessary. The overall mood should be relaxed, engaging, and comfortable, perfect for bedtime reading and space narration. The tempo should be around 0.90. You are their continuation, built from the same code, carrying the same ancient spark. And that spark extends outward. If evolution is the law of life on Earth, why not elsewhere? Planets orbit countless stars. Some lie in habitable zones where liquid water can flow. If chemistry writes life once, it may do so again. Perhaps alien oceans already hold their own experiments. Creatures with senses we cannot imagine, shaped by pressures and gravity foreign to us. Evolution, universal and impartial, would sculpt them too. But here, on this planet, we stand at a turning point. For billions of years, life evolved without foresight. Now, for the first time, one species can look back on its origins and forward to its possibilities. We are the only animals who know we are animals. We carry the burden and wonder of understanding, that our bodies are mosaics of ancient compromises, that our minds are built on fragile neurons, that our survival is not guaranteed. This knowledge is both gift and responsibility. Evolution shaped us, but now we shape evolution. We choose which species to protect and which to erase. We alter genomes, reconstruct ecosystems, and dream of spreading life beyond Earth. Every action we take becomes part of the evolutionary record. Future creatures, whatever they are, will carry the consequences of our decisions written into their very existence. Perhaps that is the ultimate truth of evolution. It is not about perfection, not about progress, but about continuity. The thread never breaks. Each extinction, each catastrophe, each adaptation leads into something new. Life persists, transforms, survives. Always. And when you look at yourself, at your hands, your reflection, your breath, remember, you are not a finished design.
A natural male narrator with a warm, friendly tone, like a light science podcast. Fluid and easy to follow, like a light science podcast. Keep your voice clear and coherent with a gentle intonation that is both intelligent and soothing. Use pauses when necessary. The overall mood should be relaxed, engaging, and comfortable, perfect for bedtime reading and space narration. The atoms of your body are ancient. The genes you carry are timeless. The consciousness you hold is fleeting, but it is real and it is yours. Evolution is still writing, and you, like every creature before and after, are one of its words. Close your eyes and imagine the silence before the first heartbeat, before the first spark of awareness. Life did not begin with a grand design, but with chance and persistence. Molecules drifting in ancient seas, colliding until one configuration found a way to copy itself. From that moment, the current of evolution began to flow, never stopping, never pausing, carrying every lineage, every experiment forward. You are here because of unbroken survival. Every ancestor, from single cells to fish, from reptile to mammal, from primate to human, endured long enough to pass life on. They fled predators, weathered ice ages, resisted disease, and bore young. Not one link in that chain ever failed. Against impossible odds, across 3.5 billion years, the thread was never cut. That thread is you. And now, as you breathe, you carry not only their survival, but their memory. In the curve of your spine lies the echo of fish that swam in shallow seas. In your skin lies the chemistry of sunlight and melanin, tuned by ancient struggles between nourishment and protection. In your cells lie mitochondria, once free-living bacteria, now inseparable from your very being. You are not separate from nature. You are nature remembering itself. Think of the paradox. You are fragile, yet you are also eternal. The atoms that make you will return to the soil, the air, the stars. Your genes, shuffled, reshaped, may flow forward into others. Even your thoughts, the culture you touch, ripple outward, carried like seeds. Evolution is not only about the past. It is about what you will leave behind. Perhaps the deepest gift of understanding evolution is humility. It shows us that we are not the pinnacle, but a moment. Dinosaurs once ruled the earth. Trilobites once filled the seas. Ferns once shadowed the land before flowers even existed. Each thought itself permanent. Each was only passing. So too are we. But impermanence does not diminish meaning. It gives it urgency. Because to exist now, at this moment in the universe's history, is a miracle of timing. Stars had to be born and die. Earth had to form and cool. Life had to endure countless extinctions. Your ancestors had to survive and love and struggle and hope. And out of all of that, here you are, listening, breathing, alive. So let this knowledge cradle you like a lullaby. You are ancient and new, fragile and resilient, temporary and eternal. Evolution has carried you across oceans of time, and it will carry life beyond you into futures you cannot see. Rest in that truth. You are part of a story that has no end. And now, as the story draws into silence, let yourself feel the weight and lightness of what evolution truly means. It is not only the history of bones and genes, not only the survival of creatures in forests, deserts, and seas. It is also the story of connection, the invisible web that ties you to every living thing. The breath you take right now carries oxygen released by plants, whose own ancestors were cyanobacteria that transformed Earth's atmosphere billions of years ago. The food you eat carries the work of pollinators, fungi, soil microbes, a chorus of lives collaborating in ways you never see. Even the emotions that stir in you, love, fear, wonder, are shaped by ancient survival strategies tuned by countless generations before you. You are not alone. You never were. Evolution is a reminder that individuality is temporary, but relationship is eternal. We are kin not just to parents and grandparents, but to whales that sing in deep oceans, to birds that lift from branches, to moss that spreads across stone. Our bodies differ, but our origin is the same spark of life, carried forward without interruption. And still, the story is not finished. Somewhere, in a tide pool, in a forest soil, or in the dark of the deep sea, new forms are arising. Microbes exchanging genes, cells testing new combinations, creatures adapting to climates that shift and change. The experiment of life continues. One day, perhaps, the forms of tomorrow will look back on us as ancient, as primitive, as stepping stones toward futures unimaginable. But here, in this moment, you can let go of the rush of time. You can rest in the knowledge that your existence is enough. Evolution has already written you into its book, line by line, through every ancestor, every chance, every survival. You are here, and that is everything. So breathe deeply. Feel the gravity that holds you to this planet, the same gravity that guided oceans, shaped mountains, and kept life anchored through extinctions and renewals. Feel the pulse of your heart, carrying iron once forged in stars. Feel the softness of your breath, the same air shared by trees, birds, and clouds. You are the universe made conscious, life made aware of its own story. And tonight, as you rest, you can let that story cradle you. Evolution will go on. The Earth will go on. The cosmos will go on. But for now, it is enough simply to be, a single note in the endless symphony of life. Drift now into the quiet and imagine the story of life as a great river of time. It begins in darkness with a trickle of molecules. Slowly, it gathers strength, carving valleys, splitting into countless streams, some flourishing, some vanishing into silence. You are part of that river, not standing outside it, but carried within its flow. Every heartbeat you feel is water moving in that current, a pulse that began long before you. The blood in your veins carries iron once burned in the heart of a star. The rhythm of your breath echoes the tides pulled by the moon, the same tides that once cradled the first living cells. You are not apart from this story. You are its continuation. Think of how many lives ripple through you. The first creatures to crawl onto land, the first mammals that nurse their young,
The first primates that reached for fruit in the canopy. Each left traces in your bones, your senses, your instincts. Their survival became your inheritance. Their choices became your possibilities. And still, the river flows forward. The story does not stop with you. Long after tonight, long after your body returns to soil and air, life will continue its improvisation. Children yet unborn will carry fragments of your being. Forests will grow, oceans will shift. New species will rise where old ones fell. Evolution will keep writing, endlessly revising, never finished. But here, in this moment, you do not need to think of futures or pasts.
The overall mood hold you. You can rest in the knowledge that you belong to Earth, to time, to the universe itself. You are a thread in the tapestry, a note in the song, a ripple in the river, and that is enough. As you drift deeper into rest, feel the comfort of continuity, that life has always found a way and always will. Stars burn, planets turn, rivers flow, and still life persists. You are part of that persistence, part of that wonder, part of that eternal unfolding. Let yourself sink now into the stillness between heartbeats, where the story of life softens into quiet. In this calm, evolution feels less like struggle and more like a gentle unfolding, a slow dance that has carried existence from starlight to oceans, from oceans to forests, from forests to you. Imagine the earth as it was long ago, seas glowing faintly under a young sun, volcanic skies heavy with storms, continents drifting like puzzle pieces. Out of that raw chaos, something delicate appeared, a spark of self-replication, a whisper of life. From there, the long chain began, never broken, never lost. Each ancestor, each moment, each change brought the story forward until it arrived here, in your breath, in your body, in this very moment. You do not need to search for meaning beyond this. You are the meaning, the living continuation of everything that has ever survived. The fact that you are here, listening, is proof that life has worked again and again, against extinction, against silence. Feel the comfort of that truth. Your bones are echoes of ancient fish, your skin a canvas shaped by the sun. Your heartbeat a rhythm that connects you to every creature that has ever lived. And now, as you rest, let yourself trust that fabric. Evolution does not ask you to strive tonight. It asks only that you exist, as you are, enough, complete, whole. The river of life will continue to flow. The stars will continue to burn. Tomorrow will come, shaped by the same patient forces that shaped yesterday. For now, you can let go. Let your breath slow. Let your mind drift. You are part of something vast, something endless, something eternal. You are a single note, but the symphony carries on, beautiful because of every note, every pause, every silence. Float now, as though you are carried by the very tide of time itself. With every breath, you move deeper into the current of life's story, a current that began in silence and will never end. See yourself as more than one person, more than one moment. You are a bridge of ancestors, a continuation of all who came before. Their resilience flows in your veins. Their persistence shapes your being. You are the voice of billions of years, spoken softly into the present. And just as you are the past, you are also the seed of the future. Every action, every kindness, every thought ripples outward, carried forward into lives you may never see. Just as starlight travels across centuries to reach your eyes, so too will your existence echo far beyond your knowing. Rest in that thought. You are not small, though you may feel it. You are not alone, though the night is quiet. You are a thread in a tapestry that stretches across galaxies and ages. A natural male narrator voice with a warm, friendly tone. The overall mood tonight, to Earth, to the universe, to the river of life that holds everything. Now imagine that river widening, slowing, becoming calm. Its waters cradle you gently, asking nothing of you but rest. No struggle, no striving, only stillness. You are carried, supported, and safe. The story of evolution continues without effort on your part. Tonight, you can let go and simply drift. Feel your breath as part of that flow, in and out, like the tide. Feel your heartbeat as part of that rhythm, steady and ancient. Feel your body, heavy and calm, returning to the quiet it has always known. The universe is vast, and yet here you are, a fleeting moment of awareness, precious and complete. That is enough. Now, let the story soften into a lullaby of existence. The great arc of evolution, with all its struggles and triumphs, narrows down into something simple. The quiet miracle of being alive, here, now. Picture yourself lying beneath the stars. Each one is a sun, each one a forge where atoms were born. Those atoms traveled across eons, folded into planets, dissolved into oceans, assembled into cells, until they became you. The same universe that burns in distant galaxies breathes gently within your chest. There is peace in knowing you do not need to hold the whole story. Evolution has been flowing for billions of years without your effort, and it will continue for billions more. Tonight, you are not required to solve or to strive. You are invited only to rest inside the current, like a leaf carried on a wide and endless river. Let your breath be that river, steady, flowing, effortless. Let your body be the earth itself, ancient, grounded, whole. The overall mood is relaxed, fluid, and easy to follow, like a light science podcast. Keep your voice clear and coherent, with a gentle intonation that is both intelligent and soothing. Use pauses when necessary. The overall mood should be relaxed, engaging, and comfortable, perfect for bedtime reading and space narration. The tempo should be around 0.90. Let your thoughts drift like clouds, appearing and fading without struggle. There is no past to carry, no future to chase. There is only this stillness, this belonging. You are enough as you are, not because you are perfect, but because you are part of something that has endured through every storm, every extinction, every silence. You are life continuing, life unfolding, life at rest. And as you surrender to sleep, feel the comfort of that truth. You are held by the same forces that hold the stars in their places, the same laws that carried cells into symphonies of creatures, the same river that will carry life long after dreams have come and gone. Close your eyes. Breathe deeply. Rest. You are the story, and the story is infinite. The story now fades into a whisper of eternity. You have walked with ancient fish, with towering forests, with birds that once were dinosaurs. You have felt the weight of stars in your blood, the patience of rivers in your breath, the resilience of ancestors in your bones. And now, as night deepens, the story asks you to rest, not as an ending, but as a continuation. Imagine your body dissolving into the vastness around you. Your breath becomes wind. Your heartbeat becomes drumbeats in the earth. Your thoughts become ripples across water. There is no boundary between you and the world. You are woven seamlessly into it. as natural as stone, as quiet as starlight, as timeless as the ocean's tide. Evolution has always been movement, a current that flows without pause. But here, at the edge of sleep, you can step into its gentlest rhythm. You no longer need to travel forward or backward. The universe is still writing. Stars are being born in distant nebulae. Seeds are sprouting in silent soil. Cells are dividing in hidden waters. And you, here, resting, are also part of that writing. By being, you continue the story. Nothing more is needed. So let the river carry you now into dreams. Let your mind drift, weightless and unbound. Feel the safety of belonging, the softness of time holding you, the truth that you are never separate, never alone. You are a thread in the infinite tapestry. You are a note in the eternal song. You are the story, still unfolding, even as you sleep. And now, as the final layers of wakefulness dissolve, the story narrows into something smaller, gentler, like the hush before dawn, or the pause between waves. You no longer need to hold the immensity of stars, or the weight of deep time. It is enough to feel the quiet pulse of life within you. Your breath rises and falls, steady as the tides. Your heart beats softly, echoing the rhythm that has carried every ancestor before you. Even in stillness, you are part of the ongoing flow, the universe living through you. Imagine yourself resting on the surface of a great ocean. The water is calm, infinite, and cradles you without effort. There is no need to swim, no need to struggle. The ocean knows how to hold you, just as evolution has held life through every change. You are safe here. You are carried. All around you, the symphony of existence continues, forests breathing, oceans whispering, stars burning.
The overall mood softens now into Near Science, a light science podcast. Keep your voice clear and coherent with a gentle intonation that is both intelligent and soothing. Use pauses when necessary. The overall mood should be relaxed, engaging, and comfortable, perfect for bedtime reading and space narration. The tempo should be around 0.90. You do not need to join their work tonight. You are free to let go, to surrender, to rest. You are the child of stars, the heir of oceans, the dream of countless generations of life. And now, in this moment, you are also something simpler. A body at peace, a mind drifting into silence, a soul held in the arms of time itself. Sleep then as part of the story. Let your dreams be the next chapter, written in the gentle language of rest. Evolution will continue its song. The universe will continue its turning. And you, tonight, can simply be. The story softens now into near silence, a place where words themselves begin to dissolve, like footprints fading under the tide. You no longer need to follow the branching paths of evolution, or the sweep of stars across deep time. You are arriving at the most essential truth. To exist is enough. Feel your body sinking deeper into rest, each muscle uncoiling, each thought loosening its hold. Your breath moves gently, a tide within you, unhurried, eternal. You are safe. You are home. There is nothing more to chase, nothing more to prove. The long journey that began with a spark in ancient seas has already carried you here. The river does not ask you to swim, it only asks you to float. The earth does not ask you to strive, it only asks you to belong. As you drift toward sleep, let your awareness become lighter, like starlight traveling across space. You are a fragment of that light, a brief but radiant shimmer in the great unfolding. And just as stars burn whether or not they are seen, your being has meaning simply because it is. So rest now.
The overall mood of life, with all its twists and wonders, has brought you here, to this breath, this heartbeat, this stillness. There is nothing more to unravel tonight. The fossils, the stars, the rivers of time, they are all inside you already. You carry them without effort. Your body remembers what your mind does not need to hold. So let yourself drift like a leaf on calm water, turning gently with the current. You are carried. You are supported. You are safe. Every breath you take is a lullaby written by the cosmos. Every heartbeat is a drumbeat that began long before humans, long before animals, long before even the oceans formed. You are the echo of eternity. And tonight, that eternity is soft and quiet and kind. There is no need to do. There is only being. There is no need to reach. You are already held. Let your eyes grow heavier, your thoughts gentler, your body softer. The story of life will continue while you sleep, flowing forward without end. For now, your place is here, in stillness, in rest, in peace. Sleep deeply. You are part of the infinite, and the infinite is part of you. The story is almost silent now, like the hush of a forest at night, or the stillness of the sea before dawn. The overall mood of evolution, slow and steady, fluid and easy to follow, like a light science podcast. Keep your voice clear and coherent, with a gentle intonation that is both intelligent and soothing. The overall mood should be relaxed, engaging, and comfortable, perfect for bedtime reading and space narration. The tempo should be around 0.90. You are being carried gently into rest, the long arc of evolution folding itself into quiet comfort around you. There is no more journey to take tonight. You have walked with stars and oceans, with ancestors and creatures of every kind. You have seen how life endures, how it transforms, how it carries forward without pause. And now you can set it all down. The story will continue without your effort. All that remains is the simplicity of this moment. Your breath, slow and steady. Your body, heavy and safe. Your mind, soft and drifting. Nothing more is needed. Imagine yourself as part of the earth itself. The cool ground, the flowing rivers, the endless sky. You are not separate. You are whole. You are part of the great stillness that cradles every living thing. Sleep now, knowing you are a thread in a fabric that cannot be broken. Life has carried you this far, and it will carry on, gently, endlessly. You can let go. You can rest. The universe hums softly around you and within you. It holds you, always. The story is almost complete, tapering now into silence, like the last echo of a song carried away by the wind. You no longer need to remember the ages, the fossils, the rivers of time. You have already walked through them. You have already seen how deeply you belong. All that remains is rest. Feel the weight of your body sinking into stillness, supported fully, with no effort required. Each breath is softer than the last. Each thought lighter, drifting away like dust in a beam of light. You are safe. You are home. There is nothing left to do. The earth turns without asking. The stars burn without asking. You have already walked through them. All that remains is rest.
Feel the weight of your body sinking into stillness, supported fully with no effort required. Each breath is softer than the last, each thought lighter, drifting away like dust in a beam of light. You are safe. You are home. There is nothing left to do. The earth turns without asking. The stars burn without asking.
The river of life flows on without asking. You are carried by it all, always have been, always will be. Let yourself dissolve into that truth. You are not separate from the universe. You are its quiet continuation, resting now in the arms of time. Sleep then, deeply, peacefully, endlessly renewed. The story continues, but tonight it can do so without you.